It is not okay. It's not okay to mock someone for being weak. It's not okay to judge someone for the way they look. It's not okay to challenge someone on their weakness. It just isn't. I'm a city girl, born and raised in Kathmandu. And believe it or not, 13 years of my life, I'd never been out of Kathmandu. And why would I? Everything was here. Everything I needed, everything I had, my family, my friends, the school that I went to. If I needed anything, I could get it right here. So I'd never been out of Kathmandu. In the days that I wasn't going to school, I would just spend the whole day chilling in my bed back home or just lounging in front of the TV, snacking on junk food, getting fatter than I already was. And it was okay. In doing so, I had earned this tag from my family and relatives. If you're from a Newar family, this is a very common term. Broiler Kha. Kha meaning chicken. So I was the Broiler Kha of my family. But it was okay. That was that. And I remember in 4th grade, I was transferred to a new school, and my classroom was on the top floor of the building, which was the 3rd floor. And the fat kid that I was, it was so exhausting to climb those steps every single day to get to my class, which was like the first one in the corridor. And every morning that I get up there, I'd just get in my seat and be like, why did I join the school, you know? And I remember right before Dashain vacation, I was so happy that I wouldn't have to climb those stairs for at least a few weeks. Broiler Kha. And that day, one of our teachers asked us, like, so what are you going to do this Dashain vacation? And my answer was clear. I don't have to climb those stairs, so I'm going to stay home. I'm going to watch TV all day. I'm going to eat everything that I could get my hands on, and just chill, you know. So we had to stand up one by one, and I was at the corner seat of the 2nd bench, and my answer was set. But to my surprise, my friends, majority of my classmates at least, their answer were that, sir, I'll go to my gaon. To which, in that corner of the 2nd bench, I sat there thinking, shit, I don't have a gaon to go to, you know. When they talk about going to Dhapa or Biratnagar or Nepalganj or places that I've never even heard of, and I'd be like, the farthest that I'll get to during Dashain is Kirtipur, because like, that's my mamagar, and that's like a 30-minute ride away from the main city, and I'd get there comfortably on my dad's bike or with my mom or some other relative. And my concern of getting to Kirtipur was that some of my relatives lived uphill, which meant I had to climb more stairs to get there. So, Broiler Kha. But it was okay. It was okay. Now, at 13, my aunt was transferred to Gorkha. She got a job in Gorkha Darbar, and I was happy that finally, I have a place to go to during my vacations. That was the first time I got out of Kathmandu. I remember the night before we were to leave, I was so thrilled of that idea that finally, maybe I'll have my own gaon. Maybe this Gorkha will be my gaon. And I'd packed all my stuff, and I couldn't sleep, but then we were catching the early morning bus. It was a 6 o'clock bus. So at 5, I just woke my aunt up, and I was like, let's go. So we got on the 6 o'clock bus at a microbus at Kalanki. And that thrill of crossing Thankot and going around Nagdunga, seeing clear water run through the river by the highway, clear blue sky, the change in the air, that freshness, everything was so adventurous to me. And I was like, yes, finally, I'll be going to a gaon. And then Gorkha Pugyo, when we got down at Gorkha Bazaar, I was kind of confused because it was quite similar to Kathmandu. It was a bit smaller, but then the shops were selling the same things, the bazaar looked the same, the mandir, the darbar that my aunt works in were in the same structure that you can see around Basantapur or Lalitpur or anywhere around Kathmandu, right? So I thought to myself, like, okay, let's just, like, herum kya hunta. Now, if you've been to Gorkha Darbar to be specific, it's on a hilltop, which means more steps exhaustion, tiredness, and all of that in Broiler Kha. But it was okay, because I would get back home, back to in front of my TV and my chill life after getting back from Gorkha, and that was okay. That was life. So that happened, and after Gorkha, I did go along a few places with my mamu. She travels a lot for work, and then I went along with her to Pokhara and Chitwan, but these were also cities, right? So in the back of my head, I always wanted to experience what Gaon was like, what Nepal was like outside of Kathmandu. But that was just in the back of my head. I didn't do anything about it. I just sat home, watched TV, eat more, get fatter. And in doing so, I developed a few health issues. At 17, after completing my +2, I got to know that I had a bad back, mero nosa chapeko थियो, and I had fatty liver, and my legs were weak from all the exercise that I didn't do. And that was that. And I remember the moment my mom and I, we were sat in front of the doctor looking through the reports and diagnosing all of these problems. And that was the first time I ever felt so scared, because my mom was scared. And it was just such a terrifying moment. I was scared for my life. But the doctor told me, assured us, both of us, that he had the treatment planned, and in a few months, I was going to be okay. That was that, so it was going to be okay. Now, this was also the time when I had just joined university from bachelor's level, and going to a new place, meeting new people, engaging with them in conversations where my friends in university are also from all over Nepal, so hearing them talk about their gowns, how they got there, what it was like, what life was like there, it was so interesting to me, and I loved making those conversations with them, because that would distract me from my problems. One such conversation is very crucial for me in my life. So what happened was, there was this guy who was sharing with me about his recent trek to ABC. Now, this was the time when ABC was a very, very popular trekking destination, and he was telling me about seeing snow for the first time, seeing the sunrise from the mountains, and that struggle to get up there, push yourself, wanting to just throw your backpack and leave, but then getting to base camp and seeing the starry sky at night among the mountains. The way he said it, I was fascinated. The photos that you'd showed me, all of that led me to say that, you know what, I feel like I also want to go. I also want to go. To which he sits back in his chair, hands folded, looks me up and down, and says, Timi सक्दैनौ. And I froze. My legs were cold. I was holding on my chair that I was sitting on so tight, because this person who barely knew me for even 2 weeks, was sipping on the coffee that I paid for, is telling me that ma सक्दिन. I'm not someone who swears much, but in my head, I was going through every swear word I knew. I had so many questions. I was so angry. My eyes were all teary, and there was rage, anger running through my veins. And I could just smack him in the face right there and show him what I can do. But I didn't, because I was also hurt. Those 2 words, "Timi सक्दैनौ," hit me so hard. Took me on a flashback to all those Broiler Kha moments. And then I thought to myself, you know what, Julie? It's not okay. It's not okay that this person looks at me and judges me and thinks that I can't do something. It's not okay that I was going through all these Broiler Kha taunts for all my life without doing anything about it. It's not okay that I was living the life that I was. With anger, rage, hurt, I didn't know what to do, but I knew that I just had to get out of the presence of this annoying human being who was like tapping his foot like anything, sitting back on that chair, thinking that, why are you doing like this? Like, why are you reacting like this? So I just picked up my backpack and left. That evening, when I got home, I sat down, collected myself, and said to myself that, Julie, you have to prove these people wrong. It's not okay what you've gone through all your life. It's not okay. You need to change this. You need to show those people, you need to prove each one of them wrong. And the first thing that crossed my mind to do was to go on a trek. Now, in my university, what happens is every semester break, there's always a group of people who are traveling somewhere, utilizing their vacation, going on a trek somewhere. And I knew going to down too. So I looked around for people, I asked around, and I came to know of these bunch of college seniors who were going to Gosaikunda. Gosaikunda, by the way, is said to be more difficult than ABC, just saying. And so I asked if I can join them, and a friend tagged along. So there were 8 of us, 6 girls and 2 guys, who went to Gosaikunda on a 5-day trek. This was back in February, so it was super cold. And it was difficult. It was super, super difficult. For a Broiler Kha who's never been out of bed, whose problem was walking upstairs of school or Gorkha or Kirtipur, to get to Gosaikunda is a very, very, very difficult deal. And it was difficult. But what got me through, what kept me going, what made me think that, no, Julie, don't give up, go, you can do this, is those 2 words echoing in my head. I had to prove him wrong. I had to prove everyone else wrong, and I did. I went up, got to Gosaikunda, and I remember standing on that frozen lake in the middle of these gigantic mountains. Nothing else mattered. It didn't matter what people thought about me. It didn't matter what that guy told me. I was so happy for the first time in my life for achieving something so big. And with that happiness, I got back home. And I sat there, and the first thing, obviously, after a 5-day trek, that was so tiring, I got home, just threw my backpack, and I was lying in my bed. And my aunt walks in, and she's like, "Hey, guys, keep Broiler Kha." And that was not okay. I'd been hearing my relatives say this all my life, but that moment, it was not okay. I might have started on a journey to prove those people wrong. And I thought I did, but I hadn't. So I thought, you know what? One trek's not going to do. I need to go another one. So every semester break, I would plan for a trip, a hike, or trek, anywhere, just get to places, because I just had to prove those people. And in doing so, in traveling to these places, experiencing gaons, and seeing that experiencing that kind of Nepal, I fell in love with traveling. I found something that I'm so passionate about, that's something that feeds my soul, that keeps that fire burning. And I was happy. I was happy. I was meeting other travelers. I was meeting these traveling communities. And all of these, and throughout these times, I came across this competition called the Solo Women Travel Challenge, which is organized by Nepali travelers every year. And I thought of applying, and I applied. And being one of the 18 winners of Solo Women Travel Challenge 2017, I traveled alone all the way from Mahakali in the far west to Mechi in the east. And this was the time when I finally got to experience what my classmates back in school, in university, were talking about. The first day I got on a 26-hour bus ride overnight to Dodildra, and then I knew what it was spending 26 hours on a bus, sleeping on a bus, what they meant of the difficulty of getting there. I was experiencing gaons, I was experiencing the local life of, the Nepal that's outside of Kathmandu, and it was so amazing. That moment, it didn't matter. I wasn't traveling to prove anything to anyone. I was traveling for me, and I was happy. I remember in Udaipur, I was living with this local family, and they had a poultry farm in their backyard. And I held a live chicken for the first time. And I just, that made me laugh at myself for feeling so childish, of thinking of letting that stupid guy get to me and letting all those people get to me. But in that moment, I also realized that had it not been for that very moment, I don't think I'd have ever gotten out of my house, out of my bed, out of Kathmandu, out of traveling in a safe environment with family or relatives or, seniors, adults. I don't think I would have ever traveled Nepal or have that experience of have that determination to fulfill my 4th grade despair of not having a gaon, because every place that I went to was my gaon. The people were so welcoming, and it was just amazing. Had it not been for those 2 words, Timi Sokteno, that very moment, I don't think I would have understood that sometimes, it's okay that it's not okay. Thank you.